back to the channel. It's Lauren. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having an amazing day. Today is Sunday, which means that we're doing Amateur Scent Hour on the channel. I'm so excited. It feels like forever since I've been able to talk to you guys about perfumes. And today I thought I would share with you my top 10 perfumes of the moment. So these are the ones that I've been reaching for the absolute most in my collection. The ones that I just like can't get enough of. They're so good. So prepare for me to gush about all of these fragrances. Ooh, they're just so good. They're the ones that like in this moment, if I had to like only keep 10, these are the 10 that I am keeping for sure because I reach for them all the time. Like within a week, all of these are getting used multiple times and I'm really excited to share them with you, especially because I love doing list videos. I have like so many ideas to do different perfume videos and all that, but I really wanted to share with you guys the ones that are getting like hardcore use from me. Maybe at home you want to just know like what's your favorite. Like I want to know that one, not just like what exists and has those notes and is like a vibe, you know? Like I want to know what your vibe is, what you're actually liking, and that's what this is going to be. So I hope you guys enjoy. I'd love to know what some of your favorites are in the comments, of course, and hopefully we share some. That'd be cool. But let's just get into it because we have 10 to talk about. The first one I want to talk about already has a dent in it. I bought this as a set from Ulta. Like it's like a gift set for the holidays and it was a blind buy. So I bought this not knowing exactly what it was going to smell like, but I just was like, I have a feeling deep in my soul when I looked at the notes. So this is Fresh Cream Warm Cashmere from Philosophy. And this is so good. I have been so into like vanilla scents and sweet, almost gourmandy, almost like gourmand scents, come on. Which is just a way and direction I didn't expect to go with my nose. I think it's partially that we're moving into colder weather, and so I do think these sweeter, like heavier type scents really are comforting and cozy and warm, whereas if it was summer and spring, I would want something fresher and lighter. I tend to go more unisex or even like citrusy or something, but baby, I am into it. Okay, so let's talk about this. I already have like a pretty good sized dent going on, and this one's not that expensive, which is so nice. This definitely has like a lactonic kind of milky note to it to me. I mean, fresh cream, but there's this sugary vanilla that comes through, and this does have a bit of like, I don't know if it's creme brulee, but almost like a burnt quality. It's definitely there, and that is something that I find so attractive in scents. I love that burnt sugar smell. Please, if you have any recommendations of burnt sugar smells that like aren't in this video and you love, please let me know because it's like one of my top categories. Like burnt sugar note, please, dear God, I love it. Easy to wear, it's not too strong. I don't find I get like a ton of wear time on this, maybe 4 hours, but I find scents like this are definitely more of like being at home, cozying up, watching a movie. I spray this to go to bed. I never understood how people sprayed things to go to bed, but like, I get it. I get it. I love it so much. Looking at the main accords on this, it is vanilla, woody, powdery, coconut. There is a coconut note. I don't get a ton of it. I mean, I guess, but it doesn't come across like overly coconut to me. Musky, sweet, and balsamic. This doesn't like break it down to like top notes, middle notes, but some of the notes in here, vanilla, coconut, sandalwood, cashmere wood, and musk. I'm telling you, I get something lactonic. Maybe that's the coconut kind of coming off milky there, as well as like a bit of creaminess from that sandalwood. But it is just so, so good. Definitely not overly woody though. I'm telling you, to me, this smells very much like a burnt sugar vanilla cream. Like it is so good. I really enjoy this scent. If that sounds good to you, I would check it out. I will say I tend to, and I'm finding out that I like a more synthetic vanilla scent. So something that has like just a delicious vanilla scent. So this is not going to give you like natural vanilla, I'm pretty sure. Like this is going to give you more like what a Bath and Body Works vanilla could be, but it's so, so good. I'm telling you guys, if you like that type of scent, especially for the colder months, this is so good, especially to cuddle up on the couch. Like I cannot get enough. I have made a dent in the tiny one. I made a dent in this. I wouldn't be surprised if this is like halfway gone by the end of the year. Moving on from that. I know it's a lot. These are in no particular order, and I'm kind of trying to like space out so I'm not putting the same types of scents next to each other. But next I want to talk about this one from Mancera. This is Instant Crush. I was put on to like go smell this because a lot of people compare this to Baccarat, and Baccarat's like my favorite ever. I am planning to do a Baccarat dupe video because I just have such a love for Baccarat, and I know that a lot of people talk about things being similar or duping Baccarat, and I'm like, but is it? But is it a dupe? Like, let's get real. I don't know. So I thought that I would put my 2 cents in. I really want to find a lot of the different dupes so I can hopefully help anyone who doesn't want to spend the money on Baccarat find something that's going to work for them. But anyway, back to this scent. This is so good, and I do get why people compare it to Baccarat because this also has a bit of that burnt smell. I believe this has saffron and ginger in it, and I think both of those are adding to this kind of spice that this perfume has. And again, it kind of gives it something burnt, but it's still sweet. It's a very good scent. Definitely different though to Baccarat. This has a power to it, and there's something that comes off a bit perfumey, like just this overall like, oh, that's perfume, but in a good way. I normally don't like that type of thing where it's like, ooh, okay, perfume. Like I don't like that type of quality in a fragrance, but this one does it really well, and it definitely adds this like longevity and power to this fragrance that I really appreciate, because sometimes with Baccarat and different scents, my nose just doesn't pick it up after a while, and I find with this one, I can really smell it throughout the day, all day, really great. And if anything, I need to be careful that I don't overspray this baby because it can be pretty intense, and I tend to go a little ham with spraying myself. So on that one, I've learned like maybe less is more. Sometimes, you know. The main accords on this are warm, spicy, woody, amber, vanilla, powdery, citrus, musky. Oh, it's so good, you guys. These are all kind of falling into a similar category. Like most of these fragrances are going to be sweet. I think all of these fragrances are going to be pretty fall appropriate, even going into winter, again, kind of like colder months. The top notes on this are saffron, ginger, Sicilian mandarin, and Sicilian bergamot. You're definitely smelling that spiciness from that ginger at the top. In the middle notes, you have amberwood, Moroccan rose, Egyptian jasmine, and Indonesian patchouli leaf. There is a bit of spice coming from that patchouli, but I am someone who does not like patchouli, you guys, and I love this fragrance. So I definitely think if you are turned off by patchouli, but everything else about this scent sounds nice to you, I would give it a sniff. I sniffed this at a Bloomingdale's before I bought it. I did not blind buy this, and I was able to get actually a really great deal on this perfume. Most of my stuff I don't buy full price because y'all know I like to get a deal, but I was able to get this like less than half the price or about half the price for a brand new bottle. But anyway, when I went to go smell it, even the guy at the counter was like, oh, that smells good. I was like, yeah, I know. I know. Oh, it's so good, you guys. I genuinely love this. Like when I first got this in the mail, I was like, I'm addicted to you. I wore this all while I was moving, like literally moving boxes, and at the end of the move, one of the people helping us was like, oh, you smell so good. I was like, thank you so much. And it was this. Like this had stuck around that long. I find it really sticks well to clothes. I do think this one, if you want something that's going to perform and you really want something that's going to stay, this does do that, whereas not necessarily all the other ones on this list are going to do that. Let me finish up the base notes here. In the base, we have Madagascar vanilla, sandalwood, white musk, and oak moss. Just a beautiful fragrance. I highly suggest to check it out if anything I said about it sounds good. I really enjoy this fragrance. I didn't even smell my little tester strip, didn't need to. I can smell that thing from the bottle. Next, let's talk about Ariana Grande Cloud. I have Cloud and I have Cloud Intense or 2.0, and I decided to put Cloud here, but Cloud 2.0 could be in here as well. I have a video talking about the two and the differences that I smell, which, spoiler, very little, very small, very insignificant to me. But Cloud is another one that is just such a great celebrity scent. I think she did such a great job with this, where this is still mass appealing because it's sweet, and I feel like it goes in line with like other fragrances she has released. Like it's not so far a spin-off, but it also has something elevated about it. It doesn't smell like every other celebrity fragrance that are out there, which a lot of them smell like clones of each other. You either have one that's fruity with musk or fruity with patchouli. Like that's what you get with a celebrity fragrance. This also is compared to Baccarat Rouge, and I do understand that, especially in the opening. The way that this does sweet is similar to how Baccarat does sweet. It's light, it's airy. There's something about it that, although like there's no denying how sweet this fragrance is, it doesn't feel cloying, it doesn't feel heavy, it doesn't feel like too much. It really is just a beautiful perfume. This has notes of coconut, it has a whipped cream note to it, which I love. I'm learning like whipped cream, hi, I love you. In fragrances, it's so good. But there is like a pear note in here as well, which kind of gives it a little more, I find pear mixed with vanilla is a really sweet scent, give it this tiny bit of tang, so it doesn't just like only smells sweet, and I really like that about it. This also has a bit of lavender, and if you tell me that and I smell it, I'm like, oh, okay, but it doesn't like feel overly lavender. It's not like, you know, gonna be too hippy dippy shop lavender, you know what I mean? I mentioned in my like video about these perfumes, but this also to me has a similar note as Baccarat in that there's something kind of plastic or almost medical that comes off of this scent. I brought up the example of like the Too Faced Hangover RX spray is like a medical coconut. That's how I've described that. This kind of has a similar feeling of like a plasticky medical thing going on, but with the sweetness and with the coconut and with the whipped cream. And so I don't dislike that. Like I like it, but it's there. I would never say like, oh no, that weird note isn't in there, but like it is. It's in there, but I still like it. So yeah, let's just talk about accords really fast. Main accords, sweet, lactonic, vanilla, coconut, everything you need to know. But if you're thinking something super gourmand, like super bakery, super like ooey gooey sweet, that's not what this is. This is light and airy, more like spun sugar floating up in the sky like a bubble. You know, the top notes on this are lavender, pear, and bergamot. I feel like it's also getting a lifted quality from that bergamot. The middle notes are whipped cream, praline, coconut, and vanilla orchid. And the base notes are musk and woods. It's so good. If you haven't tried this, you definitely should. And it's great. It gets raved about a lot, but I do find for me, it makes sense. And it's a great one for nighttime as well. I do like it for day. It could be used anytime, but I think it's nice cuddling up at night. Next on my list, I want to talk about a newer fragrance that's even newer to even have come out. This is from Labo, and it's the Te Matcha 26. When I saw that this was getting launched, I was really excited just because I'm like, yay, I want to smell it. And the moment I smelled this, I knew I wanted it. I was like, I smelled it and was like, whoa, not what I was expecting from Te Matcha. I was like, that's creamier than I expected. She was like, yeah, it is creamy. And from the moment I had it there, I was like, I'm getting that. I know I want that. And that's something I'm learning with myself. When I love a fragrance, I tend to know quite quickly. It's good to obviously spray it on your skin, know how it wears, but I've had quite a few fragrances that are like my true loves. And if I've smelled them before I got them, I knew immediately like, yeah, I love that. And this one is like that. So good. This, as much as it says Te Matcha, is a fig scent, okay? And if you know anything about me, fig and coconut, I love it. And fig and coconut tend to go together a lot of the time as well in different fragrances. So if you like one, you tend to like the other one. The main accords on this are woody, citrusy, fruity, aromatic, green, earthy, sweet, and powdery. I'm telling you, I definitely get something a little bit creamier than what those accords would maybe tell you. You're really smelling that fig coming through, and you're getting like almost this powdered matcha a little bit, but it's a lot of fig. Some other notes in here are cedar, which I definitely smell that cedar wood. I tend to really like cedar wood and most woodsy notes, but there's definitely like this drier cedar going in here. There's also vetiver, and I find that the vetiver and also the bitter orange that's in here tend to come through on that dry down, and I find that this just has a warmth. I really particularly love this scent as it wears throughout the day. They talk about this on the website as like a skin scent, and I do feel like it stays close, like it's not projecting a ton, but I do find that it lasts a long time. It just kind of stays in this bubble. If people come and hug you, they're gonna smell it. I find I can smell it on myself for a long time throughout the day. I was a little nervous about, you know, that skin scent thing, like, okay, but are you gonna last? But I find this lasts really well. And as it wears, it's kind of, it warms up. I love it. It feels lived in. I could smell good on absolutely everyone. I love this. Sam does not love this as much as me, but I'm learning he doesn't really like fig that much. So if you don't like fig, maybe not the one for you. I find on the dry down, I also really pick up on that orange bitters. And this does something similar to orange bitters from Jo Malone in that dry down that smells like kind of cologne-y to me and masculine to me in a really comforting and soft way. I really enjoy the scent. Highly suggest trying it out, maybe getting a sample, or even if you're in store, spraying it and kind of seeing how it wears on you. If you like fig scents and you want like a fig for fall, I think this one's really great. I really love it. Next, let's talk about This Is Her from Zadig and Voltaire. This is one that gets talked a lot about on like online in the fragrance community. That's how I even know about this, okay? Definitely from all of the videos. So I was like, I need this. This has notes of chestnut. It has a whipped cream note. And really those are the things that were selling me. I was like, okay, I gotta try that. Like everyone's talking about it. A lot of people talked about how this this was kind of unisex as well. So I was just like intrigued as hell of like, okay, what is this scent? And I'm very happy I picked this up. This is so interesting. This scent is so unique because there's something definitely creamy and a little bit nutty from that chestnut. There's something lactonic about it. It definitely smells sweet, but there's also this freshness that is just, it boggles your mind, or at least my mind, when I smell this of like, how can these two exist together in this fragrance? It's like simultaneously something I've smelled before, but also something I've never smelled before. I don't know. I would love to know if you have this, like, how do you describe this to people? Because it's very difficult. I find this has similar qualities, like these are not the same scent, but kind of the boggling of the mind that this does is similar to how Greenwich Village from Bond Number 9 is. There's something about that that's like, it's a gourmand, but it's fresh. Like at the same time, how that's possible, I have no idea. It is alchemy, but I absolutely love this fragrance. So excited to have it in my collection. It makes me want to try so many more from the brand because a lot of the other flankers seem to have similar notes. Like they're similar, but they kind of have like a different take, or they spin off a different way. And this one's just so intriguing and different, and I really enjoy it so much that I want to try those out. The main accords on this are vanilla, sweet, woody, lactonic, balsamic, powdery, warm, spicy, soft, spicy. Don't really get too much of the spiciness, but I am picking up tons of the vanilla, tons of that sweetness, and again, that lactonic. There's something very creamy about this fragrance, again, while being fresh. Like, how is that possible? The top notes on this are pink pepper, silkwood blossom, and jasmine sambac. Then the middle notes are whipped cream, vanilla, and chestnut, and then in the base you have that sandalwood and that cashmere wood. You're definitely getting a creaminess from that sandalwood and that cashmere wood. It's just such a comforting, just nice, beautiful scent. Very unique, I feel like, and definitely one I am happy to have in my collection for a blind buy. My gosh. I got lucky on this one because not all of them are like that for sure, but this one is just stunning. I really enjoy that fragrance. Next, this one's probably not going to come to you much of a surprise, but I have been absolutely loving Skylar's Vanilla Sky. This is one that I smelled and was like, yeah, it's a nice vanilla, but I have just become like, this was the gateway vanilla for me, where I'm like, wow, wait, maybe I really freaking like vanillas. If you're looking for just a nice, more warm vanilla, I think you should check this one out, you guys. There's something about how this dries down on me that it really does pick up like this caramelized wood vanilla sweetness that I just love. It is different than the fresh cream. I definitely get something more lactonic, and again, a little bit more burnt sugary with this. This smells almost more realistic to like food to me, but in the best way. This stays more in that vanilla. Like, you're not getting something too burnt, you know? I love using this at night as I go to bed. Again, kind of lounging around the house, wanting to feel comforted. This has notes of like cappuccino in it. It has this caramelized cedar wood in it. The top accords on here are vanilla, coffee, caramel, sweet, woody, powdery, and so forth. And although that cappuccino's in here, I don't like pick up like specifically like, oh, coffee, but I do feel like that adds to the richness of this vanilla, and it definitely keeps it more on the warm side of a vanilla as opposed to some of the other vanillas I've been trying and excited to try. Just stick to being a little bit more soft, and they don't like have a I don't need a ton of richness because this is still light, you know? And I feel like even in the summer, potentially could be worn, but has a little bit more depth. There's a little bit something more going on, and I feel like the coffee note, the cappuccino note adds to that. In the top notes, you also have the sweet orange and bergamot, which gives us like a bit of a lifted quality. The middle notes, vanilla, cinnamon, and Spanish jasmine. I don't pick up on much cinnamon, honestly. Like, it is a very docile cinnamon combined with the vanilla. It's nothing really spicy. And then in the base notes, you have that caramel, sandalwood, cedar, and amber. And it's just beautiful. If you're looking for a vanilla, this one's great. Lasting power is about 4-ish hours on me. I like using this also as a layering perfume. So if I find I want something a little bit sweeter, I want to bring out vanilla in some other fragrance, I definitely like using this to layer. All right, guys, we have 4 perfumes left. Next, I want to talk about one that I actually discovered from Olfactif. I mentioned them in a couple of my other videos. One of you guys had mentioned them, that you found them through me, so they contacted me, and now I have a code for you guys, which is really awesome. So I personally really really love the service. What it is a perfume subscription. So every month you can either pick to do like the her or the him or the deluxe, which is all 6 samples. And they curate from niche brands a theme for the month, and they send you out a 2 ml vial, which is a very generous 2 mls, and you get to smell them. And I really liked this because as I'm getting into perfume, I want to smell everything. I want to get my nose on like everything out there, and it's tough to kind of know where to start with a niche. And I think it's great that you can have a jumping off point to test fragrances that are maybe hard to smell in store. I feel like it's a pretty fair price. You're getting a good amount of product, and also with the subscription, just for being subscribed, you get 10% off anything on the website, but for anything that is featured that month, you get 20% off of it. So I really love that, and that's how I came to have this perfume, know about this perfume, buy this perfume. So my code Lauren May saves you 20% off your first subscription. It's not monetarily affiliated, so I don't get any kickback or anything, but I genuinely like love the service. So I'm really excited that if you guys want to try it out, you can save a little bit of money. Y'all know I love trying to save some money, especially on perfumes. Anyway, I wanted to give you guys that bit, but this is from Bluehill, and this is Midnight Ride. This is so good. I think this might have been in the kind of men's section, not the female section, but I feel like a lot of scents tend to be unisex. You could do whatever you want, like, yeah, F the rules type thing. If you like leather, this is the scent for you. This is such a great leather fragrance. I really love a leather perfume, but I do find that some leathers can be hard, especially because the dry down can really change them. And I find this is just so, so beautiful. So this is like a soft, supple, I find almost kind of creamy. There's like a creaminess to me at least. Leather in the top, like that's really what you're getting in that top. But there's also these notes of like pine or some type of forest, something kind of resinous. There's a freshness to me about that, but then there's also this tiny faint kind of smokiness from maybe a campfire off in the distance or from a couple of days ago. It is not smoky. I don't want like to confuse you or make you think this is too smoky, because it's not. It's just absolutely beautiful. I find if you like Teh Matcha, you should try this one out. I mean, it's a leather and not fig, but I don't know. To me, they just kind of still stick in that same realm, and I think you would really like this. I do think you're gonna wanna like leather to get this, but there are ways you can sample this. You can sample this through Olfactif, but you can also sample this from the Bluehill website as well. This was inspired by Paul Revere's like Midnight Ride, so that's kind of what you're getting, like riding on a horse on a leather saddle is what I'm smelling through the forest at night, and I'm getting all of that, but in the most fresh way possible, because I'm still dipping my toes in deeper, darker scents. So I feel like this is a really nice one that it's strong, it's there, it's punchy, but it's not too deep and dark. I love the way this wears down. That leather note becomes softer and softer, and it goes into this kind of like creamy sandalwood. It's really beautiful. Definitely want to like woods, definitely want to like leather to try this, but it's perfect for fall. Like this, when you're wrapped up in a scarf, like please. So good. I would wear this in the daytime though. It doesn't have to be like a nighttime scent. It's beautiful. I'm so happy I was able to find this. I would never find this fragrance otherwise. Like how would I know what this is, where it's from, where it exists? This is just a 30 ml bottle, but this isn't too expensive in terms of perfume. Let's get that straight, because perfume in general tends to be kind of expensive, but this bottle was $65, but then I saved more money on it. So it was like $52. And I thought that that was pretty fair for niche, something so unique to me. Something from a small perfume brand. So love that. Love, 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 love this. Perfect for fall, you guys. Oh my gosh. As always, I have the white line of death. Next, let's talk about another celebrity scent. This is probably the most inexpensive of my list. So if you're trying to save some money, but you want to try one of these scents, Fancy is the one for you. This is talked about a lot on fragrance YouTube as well, and so that's what made me want to get this. I was actually introduced to the Jessica Simpson fragrances with Fancy Love. I blind bought that like back in the day, back when I lived in Arizona, so like probably 10 years ago. And that one's a lot more floral. It's like a little bit sweet, but it's more like girly like that. This is sweet and caramely. It has pear, has caramel, vanilla. I also find this is another one that's like, I think celebrity fragrances get a bad rap. And don't get me wrong, like I am excited to make a video talking about celebrity fragrances, kind of roasting them in a fun way, because even sometimes the bottle is like, they get creative, you know what I mean? But I find that this one is different from a lot of the other celebrity fragrances that I've smelled because it doesn't go too fruity. It does stick with that caramel and that vanilla. There's a bit of fruit, like that pear comes through. I think there's also a bit of red berry, but yeah, there's red berries and apricot, but it doesn't go too fruity to me where it just starts turning tropical, or I don't know, it's just so good. The caramel really grounds it. There's also notes of almond, gardenia, and jasmine in the middle notes, and then in the base notes, vanilla, amber, and sandalwood. Just a beautiful vanillic fragrance, and it's so inexpensive. I think I got the big bottle for like 20 bucks at Ross, so definitely check out the Ross. You should be able to find it there. Even on the fragrance websites, it's pretty inexpensive. And I find, honestly, the pear in here comes off a little citrus. So it almost comes off like a lemony vanilla caramel to me in my nose. And I just love that. It's like a little bit brighter, definitely very sweet though. So you're gonna want to like sweet scents if you want to try this. Like, it's not just good for the money, it's just a good scent. You know what I mean? So love that one. I guess I'll give you the accords since I didn't. The main accords in this are sweet, fruity, caramel, vanilla, powdery, almond, and so forth. It's not too powdery though with that almond, and I don't think the white florals like ruin it. It's just so good. Definitely try this one if you like the sweeties. Second to last, I wanted to talk about the Majestic Woods scent from Juicy Couture. I talked about this in my Mysterious Perfumes video. I think I maybe talked about Midnight Ride there as well. This was recommended by another YouTuber, and I just was like, I'm gonna go for it. That sounds like it smells amazing. And this is really quite rich and decadent. If you are used to Juicy Couture perfumes, like, don't base anything about this perfume off those. This does not smell like any other Juicy Couture scent I've smelled. This is not like candy, sweet, juicy couture smells. This is not that. This has this depth to it. It does have vanilla, but I'm really picking up on a lot of the woody notes. It almost smells a bit oud, like it's a very toned down type of wood oud, but I could pick that up. There is an oud in the notes, but I get something like that. It could also be the patchouli because there is patchouli in this scent. And again, I'm not someone who loves patchouli, but the way that it's in here adds this richness, this depth. There's something kind of warm and spicy about it, but I find on my skin as I wear it, the vanilla, it really starts coming out, and I find that it has like this nice, rich vanilla woodsy scent, and the spice kind of tones down throughout. It's just beautiful. And if some days I'm feeling like maybe I don't want something so kind of sexy, like I find this to be, you could still wear it in the daytime, but for me, I definitely, like, this is a moment, like, hell yeah, I'm choosing this. Whether I'm at home or not, it's a choice to wear the Majestic Woods, but I find it so beautiful. And if I'm feeling like I want some of this depth, but I want to tone it down a little, that's when I go in with a little bit of Vanilla Sky. But really, this is one that gets me so excited about smelling things a little out of my comfort zone, because I could see myself in another time maybe not loving this as much as I do now, but it's just beautiful. The main accords on this though, amber, woody, sweet, musky, vanilla. There is a lot of amber. I feel like I don't mention that, but I feel like the amber and the vanilla mix well to me, and so there's this warmth and like this resinous quality coming from that amber. It's really great. Some of the notes that are shown on Fragrantica, but they don't tell you about patchouli, even though that is for sure in here. There are woodsy notes, praline, so it has that like sweetness, ambroxan, amber, and tonka bean. It's a beautiful, beautiful fragrance. If you can get your nose on this, or maybe you want to take a little leap, it's a very, very nice one, especially too for fall. I want to be dressed up nice and warm, go out to like a cabin, like you get that woods. It's just great. It's so good. Okay, anyway. Last, you guys, we've been waiting for it, right? Baccarat. Baccarat is my #1 probably favorite. As I've been exploring more scents, I've definitely, like, I'm like, okay, let's put Baccarat to the side. But really, whenever I'm gonna go out, if I'm going to dinner, whatever I'm doing, this is the one that I'm like, okay, I got to wear this. Like, it always usually wins out. I just think this is a beautiful scent, and as much as I've tried the dupes, I like Baccarat, okay? I like the X-Straight version as well. There's just, it's sweetness done in such a beautiful way that it just is light and airy, but so sweet. It has a bit of that burnt sugar smell, a bit of that medical almost smell to it. I think that's that saffron coming through in the notes. It's just a beautiful fragrance. And I know that this gets talked about a lot and some people are like over it. I don't give a shit about any of that. Like, if I like a fragrance, I freaking like it. And I freaking love this, okay? I got this not that long ago, and I have a dent. I have a very big dent going on in it because I spray it like crazy when I wear it, and I love every minute of me wearing that. I don't care how many other people smell like it. I want to smell like it too. The main accords on this are woody, amber, warm spicy, fresh spicy, aromatic, animalic, fresh, and conifer. I don't know what that even means. But top notes, saffron, jasmine, middle notes, amberwood, ambergris, base notes, fir resin, and cedar. I do feel like I pick up a little bit on that fir. This scent is one where like you read the notes and to me, I'm just like, what? And then I smell this, I'm like, I guess like, yeah, it's woodsy. And yeah, I get some of that fir for sure. And like maybe the saffron's what's doing that. But like, it's just a good smell. Like I can't sit here and be like, oh yeah, I definitely smell that exact note. Like that's not how my nose picks this up at all. It's just like, I don't know, it's just fucking good, okay? I don't know, it's just good. And it's expensive. It's so expensive. It was like a very big leap to make this purchase. I am, by even just how much I use it, like really happy, but I get that this is expensive. So that is part of the reason. Also, I'm really trying to find that dupe that's actually good enough to like suffice to me and my nose, or at least you could get it and like make sure it's good enough for you to spend the money, you know what I mean? But I'm working on it. I'm working on that. Hopefully at some point in the next month or so, I can get that video done, but we'll see. Maybe it'll be even the new year. I really want it to be quite comprehensive. It's gonna be a big one. Those are my top favorite perfumes right now, you guys. I'm loving them so much. These are what I'm reaching for all of the time. You come over, I'm making you smell these, okay? You come over, I'm like, smell my arm, do this. Like I would make you smell all of these immediately when you were over. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'd love to know, are any of these your favorites? It's always fun when I find other people have similar taste to me, so I just love that. But also if you have any recommendations based off of these perfumes, I would love to know, especially specifically anything that's gonna work really well for fall, burnt sugar notes, please. I hope that some of you have some of those because damn, I love a burnt sugar note, especially right now. I know you know that, I've talked about it a lot, but it's so good. I'm gonna leave the video here. Thank you so much for watching, hanging out with me, enjoying scents. I love this little piece on my channel lately. It's been so fun. And yeah, I'm glad for those of you who watch these that you're enjoying them as well. So other than that, I will leave you here and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.